All right, good morning. Well, it's morning for me, 9:48 in the morning, and this is one of the first things that I wanted to get done today because I want to take some time today and I'm going to talk about some of my favorite things. And this may be a little bit of a long video because I plan on including all my favorite media from 2025 in here, but I'm excited to share it with you. And I hope that you'll find something that you didn't get to enjoy during 2025 and you will check it out. So let's get started, shall we? We are going to start with my favorite music from 2025. Now, there's a lot of different ways I could do this. I think, like everybody, that I enjoy music through a number of different mediums. I do stream music. I listen to records. I listen to different things that include music in them. I watch music videos on YouTube and so on and so forth. But for me, the easiest way to kind of keep track of what I listen to is through what records I purchase. Now, it's not always the most accurate in the sense that, like, sometimes I dig an album and there isn't a record release, or there isn't a record release until the next year. Or sometimes I discover music, as one of my favorites this year will be, that's actually a couple of years old, but I hadn't discovered it yet, and so now it's one of my favorites, and I kind of connect it to this year. But either way, these are the albums that I purchased that I most enjoyed in the year 2025. So let's dig in. And the order of these is really just in the order that I purchased them, because I find it hard to rank music as far as like top 10, this is number 10 and then all the way up to number 1 being the best. It's easier for me to say that these are albums that really got me. And if you're anything like me, I go through like phases where I'll listen like very intensely to an album for a little while, and then after a while I'm like, okay, now I'm ready for something else. And so but I might go back to it. So it's not always easy to say this was my favorite, but maybe this is the album I listened to for all of April. That can be the case sometimes. But let's dive in. The first album, and I'm so glad that this made it on here, is for Japanese Breakfast for Melancholy Brunettes and Sad Women. The glare from my screen is kind of getting to me. I apologize for that. Now, this record, first of all, I have I don't even know which version I have. I think it's just a solid black version. Yeah, it's just solid black. You can see it back there. But I have a special sleeve on this record because I went to a listening party at my favorite record store, St. Marie Records in Fort Worth, Texas. I swear people are going to think that they're paying me, but they're not. I just really love that record store. And this sleeve was a gift to anyone who came to the listening party, and it was fun. It was my first time to ever go to a listening party. I would love to go to more. And St. Marie doesn't do a ton of those. There is a record store not far from me in Keller, Texas, called County Line Records that does quite a few. So if you're interested and you live in the area, I could recommend that. And keep an eye out, because once in a while St. Marie does do them, and St. Marie remains my favorite record store. But anyway, we went to this listening party. We had a really good time listening, my wife and I. Really enjoyed the album, and then ultimately won tickets to the concert, which is so cool. Like, I'm so lucky that happened. And so we saw a band called Ginger Root, and we saw Japanese Breakfast in concert, and it was a really special time. This album is phenomenal. I really love it. I don't really want to pull it all the way out, partially for the sake of time, but yeah, I just highly recommend that you check out Japanese Breakfast for Melancholy Brunettes and Sad Women. We've got number 2. This was a Record Store Day exclusive. This is Post Malone's tribute to Nirvana. Now, this is much older than 2025 because this was recorded and streamed live on YouTube during COVID. So maybe 2019, 2020. But it's got Travis Barker on drums, Post Malone playing guitar and singing. He came out wearing kind of like a nightgown kind of thing, like Kurt Cobain wore several times. And I think at that time he was thought of more as like sort of a hip hop guy who was dabbling in rock. And then this album, or this performance, was just insane. It was so good. So it was really cool to check it out. It's got, sort of a yellowish vinyl back there, which to me does not match the aesthetic of the album. I mean, obviously you've got the yellow in the center of the flower, but it's okay. It doesn't matter that much. And on the front, you've got this Post Malone tribute to Nirvana, Good Luck, Mr. Malone. And I can't remember who said that. I feel like it was like Courtney Love or something. I don't know. But anyway, it was really cool. Really good performance. Really highly recommend it. I've come to really like Post Malone a lot. And he's from right here near me. So that's always awesome. But yeah, so Post Malone's tribute to Nirvana. My third in an order. And first of all, can we just appreciate that right there? That is gorgeous. And you may know who this is by the center sticker or by the pressing, but this is Who Believes in Angels, and this is Brandi Carlile and Elton John. So two artists that I love individually. If you've never listened to Brandi Carlile's album, The Story, if you've never listened to Elton John's, first of all, if you've never listened to Elton John, like, what's wrong with you? How have you survived? But I mean, his entire catalog is insane. Right? But so this is an album that they collaborated on, limited edition pink spiral vinyl. It's such a good album. And they collaborated on every song, but each of them brought one song of their own. The songs they collaborated, The Rose of Laura Nyro, Little Richard's Bible, Swing for the Fences, Never Too Late, You Without Me. But each one of them had like one song that they did on their own. And You Without Me, I believe, was Elton John's. It's been a while since I've listened to this album now. But there's this song on here, and I think it's that song. That is Elton John's song of sort of like thinking about leaving his kids behind when he dies, because he's older. And it is a heartbreaking, beautiful song. Cannot recommend it enough. Brandi's song as well on this, her individual song, so beautiful. And then the collaboration is just fun. And I mean, look at this aesthetic. You can watch videos of them performing with like all this kind of Elton John-esque stuff going on, and it's greatness. It's greatness. How could you not love that album? I mean, honestly. Okay. Next up here, we've got My Morning Jacket Is. So I put a video out yesterday about My Morning Jacket and sort of how I came. It wasn't just about them. It was kind of about my record haul for December, because I got a different My Morning Jacket in December. I got this one earlier in the year. I got it basically with an album credit, because at the time there was a rewards program at St. Marie. It no longer exists. But and I was like, you know what? I'm going to check this out, because I don't have any My Morning Jacket albums except their Christmas album. I really enjoy it, and I want to hear more of them. And it's so good. And I mean, I don't know if you can see this, but this album is so stunningly beautiful as well. It's kind of like a cloudy sky. If I can get it out. There we go. Look at how beautiful that is. Yeah, and distracted. But yeah, such a beautiful album. Songs Out in the Open, Half a Lifetime, Everyday Magic. Everyday Magic is really a killer song. I Can Hear Your Love, Time Wasted, Beginning from the Ending, Let Me Know, Liquid Ink, what does that say? Liquid Ink, Squid Ink, excuse me. Die For It, and River Road. All really, really good albums, are all good songs, I mean, but just a beautiful, beautiful album. The pressing is called Blue Iceberg Colored Vinyl, which is the indie retail exclusive. But yeah, so My Morning Jacket is really stunning. Man, and they're one of those bands that are kind of hard to define, because there are like sometimes some sort of like country folk, Americana vibes in there. There are sometimes some rock and roll, and they're kind of a jam band. You know, they're just one of those bands that kind of, if you like rock, you probably will like them. Any kind of rock, really. All right, next up. Okay, this one sort of came out of nowhere. I love this artist, have loved this artist since way back in the day when they were part of a band. Well, let's just dive into it. So this is Ben Folds live with the National Symphony Orchestra. So first of all, love Ben Folds. Since the first Ben Folds 5 album, I've loved Ben Folds. He's definitely one of those guys. I don't have enough of his music. I haven't seen him live, and I need to fix that. And he comes here a lot. Used to watch him, pardon me, used to watch him on a singing competition show called The Sing Off, which was like a a cappella group competition, and he was so interesting in that. Just love this guy. So he's been working with the National Symphony Orchestra, which plays out of the Kennedy Center. And he does just some phenomenal stuff there. He's done these great collaborations. You can go on there and hear, like, go on YouTube and search for Julian Baker with the National Symphony Orchestra. Look for, like, him singing with, oh shoot, I just lost her name. Dang it, I can't remember. The phenomenal musician, singer, songwriter, Sarah Bareilles. There's performances with her. But when President Trump took the presidency again this election and immediately started to sort of take control of the Kennedy Center, he was one of the first resignations. He was, I'm out. This is not a political place. It's a place for the arts. And it was becoming politicized. And not only that, becoming politicized over political beliefs that he could not stand with. So he left. But he released this record sort of in honor of the work that he did with the National Symphony Orchestra while he was there. And so this was sort of like an out of nowhere, this record's coming out, and I definitely wanted it because the National Symphony Orchestra is so talented and Ben Folds is so phenomenal. So this has some of Ben Folds' most popular songs. On it, it's got But Wait, There's More, Fragile, Christine from the 7th Grade, Effington, The Luckiest, which of course is one of his most popular songs, Capable of Anything, Still Fighting It, You Don't Know Me, featuring Regina Spektor, which, how awesome is that? And Landed, which is another one of his most popular songs, and then Still from the movie Over the Hedge. So very, very cool. So glad to have this record in my collection. So, okay, so this next one is one of those that, like, technically this album came out in 2023, but the deluxe edition of the album came out this year, and that is how I came to know him, is through that. And this is definitely one of my all-time favorite records right now. I have listened to this record so much in the year 2025. This is one of the two records I listened to the most in 2025. So if I was doing like a top 10, this would be number 1 or number 2 for sure. I don't know which would be more, this one or the other one I'll talk about later. But this is Steven Wilson Jr., Son of Dad Deluxe Edition. This is a 4 LP box set. It's a chonker. And it's got in it, like the first side of the first album is just 2 live songs from the print shop. It's got his cover of Stand By Me, which is what he's been performing on a lot of award shows lately. And it's got I'm a Song, which to me is one of the most beautiful songs. It's one of the reasons I had to have the deluxe edition was for that cover of I'm a Song. Then it's got his regular album all the way through, but then it's also got all these sort of like acoustic demos at the end. And some of these have additional vocalists on them that really kind of change the vibe. But it's so beautiful. And guys, this album, the songs on this album, oh my goodness. I'm not going to go through all of them, but just to kind of shout out a couple that really blow me away. American Gothic was a big single. I really like Werewolf and Mighty Beast. Year to Be Young, 1994. If you grew up in the 90s, that's a great nostalgic song. Father, Son, you know, if you know anything about this album, it's really in honor of his father who passed away. And Father, Son, and Grief is Only Love are both really heartbreaking and beautiful songs about the relationship between a father and a son. There's also this song in here called All the Wars From Now On that I really, really like. So, yeah, highly recommend this album. Now, he's got a new album coming out this month in January. It's an EP. It's already out digitally, but it's an EP that's coming out on vinyl. I'd love to get it. I don't think it's going to be in the budget just because of everything else that needs to be taken care of this year. But it's called Blankets, and it's just 4, I believe it's just 4 cover songs. And that's one of the things, too, about this guy. When he does covers, they're so different and vibey. And so kind of a little background on him. He was a lead guitarist in an indie rock band when he was younger, kind of stopped doing music, became like legitimately like a scientist, and then started writing songs, just writing songs and for other artists that were getting published. But you can hear in his music a lot of times his, love for grunge, his love for indie rock. He's got this shirt that I want so bad, and I don't know if he's even still making it because I haven't been to his shop in a while on his website, but he's got this shirt that says Death Cab for Country. And I think that's a really great description of what his sound is like a mix of Death Cab for Cutie and country, and add in a little grunge. But yeah, so that's Steven Wilson Jr. All right, next one up. A lot of people's favorite this year, in a lot of people's top list. So this is Bon Iver, Sable Fable. So this is really kind of like two different projects mixed together. Sable is really just 3 songs, and then Fable is like 8 or 9. I can't remember the exact song list, but it's so good. Everything on here is really good. This is the Target exclusive, limited edition, black vinyl and red vinyl. So one of these is just black, one of them's red. And I really love this album, and I got it for a killer deal. I think I got it for like $10, $15. It was like on clearance at Target. I don't usually find the clearance stuff, so I was really lucky to be able to pick it up. People who loved like early Bon Iver, For Emma Forever Ago, that kind of stuff. This is in that vibe, in that vein, kind of goes back to it, but with some progression. So it's one that most people could find something to love on. Highly recommend. All right, next up on the list, let's see here. Oh yeah, my only soundtrack on this list, and I bought quite a few soundtracks this year, albums that I love, but most of them were music I've known forever and ever and ever. So I didn't include them just because I've known that music well for a long time. The Lord of the Rings soundtrack I talked about in my video yesterday would be one of those. But here is the one soundtrack that I will include. Another Target exclusive. It makes you feel like all I do is buy at Target, but I really don't. But this is the soundtrack for Tron Ares. Now, I have not seen the movie yet. It comes out on streaming, I think this upcoming Monday or Wednesday or something like that. But this soundtrack is 9 Inch Nails, right? So Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, they do lots of soundtracks, but they usually do it under the names Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. This one, they did under the name 9 Inch Nails. And it's great. It's so good. It feels like 9 Inch Nails. It feels like Tron. Tron Legacy soundtrack was killer, and it was done by Daft Punk, but Daft Punk no longer together. So to see a great Tron soundtrack done by 9 Inch Nails was amazing. Let's see if I can see any track lists without, struggling to get this back in its sleeve. I'm noticing that this is down a little too far. I probably should get bigger sleeves. This sleeve is too tight. Let's see. Forked Reality, As Alive As You Need Me To Be. That was a big song, As Alive As You Need Me To Be. This Changes Everything is on that side also. I think those were the 2 bigger, sort of tracks off of this. I'm going to have to put this back in later. I think those were the 2 biggest tracks off of this. But yeah, so good. Gotta love 9 Inch Nails, right? And I don't actually own any 9 Inch Nails. So this is my first 9 Inch Nails album, which is maybe disappointing because 9 Inch Nails is so good. But if you're a big 9 Inch Nails fan, you're so ashamed of me right now. But I'm glad to have some in my collection. So, okay, this next one, kind of like the Steven Wilson Jr., this is the other album I played the most this year, for sure. And this is on so many people's top 10 lists. So not a surprise at all. But that would be Hayley Williams, Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party. And I have the Team Zissou variant, which is kind of like a seafoam green, like what is it called? Like beach glass or whatever. And I don't think it's even doing it really a lot of justice, but it's kind of a translucent seafoam green kind of color. So this album, first of all, you can tell I struggled with that sticker, man. It's rough getting it off to put it on here. But this album is so good. So if you know about this album, she released about 18 individual tracks, all as singles first. Wait, let's go back. This is Hayley Williams' first album that is not on a label. Independently released. Coming on the heels of her band Paramore touring with Taylor Swift and Paramore's last album, This Is Why, such a phenomenal album. The remix album, so phenomenal. Really love them. They're one of my top bands for sure. Hayley Williams, one of my top artists. But this is the first album that she released completely on her own, did what she wanted to do with it 100%. It is all over the place genre-wise, but not in a bad way. It's not like, it doesn't feel disjointed or like it doesn't go together. It feels like it feels together. It feels like a piece. But she released them as singles first and later released them as a full album, ultimately adding a couple more tracks onto it and then released this album. I definitely pre-ordered it immediately as soon as it was available. So I'm going to say that for me, the first song I heard off of this album was enough. It was the reason I bought the album, and it is my favorite track on the album, although there are so many good ones, and that is True Believer. If you have gone through any kind of religious deconstruction, felt any sense of religious trauma, True Believer is going to feel like somebody is reading your diary. It is so powerful, so good. But then add on top of that all these other tracks. Like, I cannot get Ice and My OJ out of my head half the time. I'm sitting up there, you know, doing my morning duty at my job, and I am, you know, singing that song in my head. Oftentimes I've got an earbud in and I'm listening to it while I'm directing traffic or whatever, but it's so good. So highly recommend Hayley Williams, True Believer, Ego, Death at a Bachelorette Party, the whole album, so good. And the last album that I bought is one I did talk about in yesterday's video, and that is Derek Webb's Survival Song. So I won't spend a ton of time on this because I talked about it so much in the last video. I really encourage you to go check it out. But if you are LGBTQIA+, or if you are an ally, if you have family members who are, this album is so powerful, so meaningful, so beautiful. Derek Webb remains one of my favorite artists of all time. His writing consistently impacts my thought processes and gets me to just question, which I think is a good, healthy thing to do. I think blind acceptance is not good and not healthy. So highly recommend this album and Derek Webb to you. Okay, I do have one that I want to talk about. So that's 10. That's 10 albums. But I do have one that I want to talk about just briefly because I did not get this physically yet. This is one that I do plan on getting physically. But it just couldn't do it yet. And there's actually, it's an anniversary edition of this album out right now. So I really, really hope to be able to buy it before it sells out. And it's so good. And that is, let's see if we can get some focus on that. Focus. There we go. That is the Oh Hello's Dear Wormwood. So this album came out all the way back in 2015, which is forever ago. And I did not hear about it until this last year in 2025 on the 10-year anniversary. The Oh Hellos are a band from here in Texas that I just didn't know. I did pick up their 2 Christmas albums as my only 2 Christmas albums I bought this year. But so good. The vibe is like, if you love Sufjan Stevens, you will probably love the Oh Hellos. There's definitely some Sufjan influence there, but there's a lot of other stuff going on too. And Dear Wormwood is really, you know, that's taken from a book called The Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis, a book I love, an author I love, and it's just such an interesting and remarkable album. I highly recommend it. So I'm going to add that as a digital-only, way late top album of the year. So anyway, I hope that there's something here that you didn't know about that you too can fall in love with and listen to. And I hope that you get to enjoy the music the same way that I did. If you had one of these albums on your list, let me know down below. And if there's one of these that you've never heard of that you want to check out now, let me know that down below too. I've got so much more to talk to you about. This video is already 24 minutes long, so I'm going to let you go. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Come back. I'm going to talk about some more of my favorites here in a little bit.